Good afternoon, students. Good to see you again, or rather, good for to be here because I can't see. I hope that everything which is clearly visible. I got a little feedback that sometimes the images are a little. Don't worry about it. That's usually because of a slow connection. Sometimes because you will always be able to revise it after the recording is available. So let's get class today. Materials. There is. So far, you've been looking at listening structure of the heart, external and its has been done the previous class, including this one. Today we'll get on with what keeps the heart alive. Bone artery. This is an extremely crucial topic because it is pertinent to a deal of heart disease. You will immediately jump into patient care with a lot of ischemic heart disease. So the anatomical basis, but we'll deal with that as a second part. Today let's just look at the arteries or the arteries. It's a little difficult to do because you haven't actually held the organ in your hand and looked at its surfaces, borders, sulci, grooves. You'll have to get familiar with the terminology, the theory, and then we'll revise the practice. So this already you're familiar with, that we have the heart which has what we're looking at for the sternocostal, and basically to the right auricle and left auricle, they are appendage like and the left. And between this and the next, these grooves in which depth is embedded, the arterial and nature of the heart are called the coronary. Because in that coronary, so this was right coronary. Right, the right coronary artery found in this right ventricle. Left coronary, it is found in this groove, left auricle and part of the ventricle, and which will divide again down going side going. So we will be describing these two coronary area of territory and even a little more detail, which will form the basis for how ischemic heart disease happens and why it happens where it happens. Then what can we do about it in terms of. So the coronary arteries are the left and this particular series of slides has a little nice bright animation. I wanted to use bright. So I want to acknowledge Dr. Soin Win, who had put this up set of shared slides 10 years ago. It is still pertinent because nothing has evolved in supply. So both coronary arteries are originally essential and right coronary artery is coming out from a place in the aorta here, the origin, which is called the right or anti-aortic. It is the bulging area of the first part of the aorta from which this we will. The left coronary artery and behind this. So it is arising from another part of the same vessel. The diameter of vessel big one, and it has three bulges. So one of them is the right or aortic from which this right artery, and the left coronary coming from the left or posterior. Because it's posterior, you don't see it. Draw it as a dotted line because it is on the back surface of this big fat. So that one is called the left coronary, LCD. Wherever we put out dotted lines in the diagrams, it means it is on the back surface, or you're not looking, you can't see it from this particular view. So imagine that it is the back side. I'll try to show you posterior. Now this is a posterior where you can see this is the left atrium, the back with the four pulmonary veins entering the back. This would be the posterior view of the right atrium. So this much is this would be the interatrial, and you're looking at the coronary, the atrioventricular on the posterior surface, or the posterior inferior view, or the diaphragmatic part, and you can see that the left coronary, because you're looking at it from behind, left is left and right is right, and this is the left coronary artery continuation. This is the right coronary, will give further branching on the backside. We will look at that again, but we will look at it as dotted lines from the front, that you get a concept of how the branching. I'll come back to this diagram if we need. So these are the names. We'll come to each of the names as we go. So let's look at each of the two coronary arteries specifically. So we said the right coronary artery starts here, the anterior aortic sinus, and it will have a course. So it goes between, we said this was a right auricle, so there was an appendage, so that was right auricle. And this portion of the right ventricle, the infundibulum. Between this and this, the course starts in the right auricle, infundibulum. That's where the right coronary artery beginning, or stem, main stem. Then it enters into this groove we saw on the surface in the first picture. There was a groove that is called the atrioventricular, and it enters into that. So we have the that is a groove, and the artery courses down. Right? Then we have at the inferior border. This is called the inferior. When the entire artery arrives here, by this time it's given off some branches. By the time it comes here, it turns backwards onto the backside, so, and to the left. Left is it. So this will turn backward and to the left. Go on the back, this part, in the same, right? There it will give off a posterior intervention and become smaller, become very small. This little bit here. This one will anastomose terminal branch of the. So it will intervention, then become very small, and it will go and anastomose branch of this side of the left coronary. This is the main story of the right coronary. Now what are its branches? So right at the beginning, this we saw is a full was its posterior. So right in the beginning of these two branches, one is called this branch, one is called the sinuatrial artery, SA nodal. 60% of thirds of this branch comes from the right corner. In 1/3 of the population, it must let's 40 is actually the 2/5 of the population. This artery will not come from right coronary. Very, very important artery because it's the rhythm. You must remember that 60% of the branch of it. Now near the inferior border, because this is the margin, we said this is the inferior margin of the right margin. Right? Third branch. Then it gets onto the undersurface, which is diaphragmatic. And once it runs in the groove, it gives off a branch, a very important branch called the interventricular, which runs towards the apex of the arm. There it anastomoses with anterior interventricular branch opposite the left coronary. So please remember, again we'll revise this, is another area of anastomosis. Already said, terminal branch is going towards an anastomosis with the opposite side. The posterior interventricular branch is also going for an anastomosis. Then it gives off a AV nodal artery here, but on the back side. Back surface gives off another branch because the AV node is approximately placed here on the back. Atrioventricular node. So it is between the atrium, but not on this surface. This AV nodal artery, 90% the right coronary, and where at the point where it gives off the posterior, maybe given before or after, but usually it's at like a trifurcation. One branch going down, the interventricular, another branch going, and the diminished end bit is continuing towards the opposite side. So we've got 5 named branches at least: bonus branch, sinuatrial artery, right marginal artery, posterior branch, and A. You can remember these two are near the beginning, this is near the inferior border from the diaphragmatic. That will be good because we have to establish visually where all it goes. And it also indicates that you are aware, because the location is very important when you're trying to coronary angiogram, because there you don't get the surface of the heart at all, you get the branching because of the diaphragm. So if you can remember on which surface and position, identify which arteries are filled by the dye and which block will show. So please remember, right coronary artery branches near the beginning, the inferior border, 1 and 2. Another way to ask this question is, what is the territory or area of distribution of this particular vessel? This one vessel supplies how much? We are particularly interested in myocardium, endocardium, the epicardium. So endocardium absorbs oxygen slightly to a very small from the circulating blood. But for purposes of understanding distribution, what area supplied by the right coronary are right atrium, right ventricle, posterior interventricular, where the posterior interventricular artery was, and that is a thick, good amount of oxygen being supplied by our right coronary. Adjoining that part of the left ventricle, orangish reddish color, is right ventricle. But this light green is a little strip, left ventricle also on the back side, to supply much of muscle. Right, plus the SA node and the AV. Both of these. So areas of supply or territories. The whole of the conducting system, except a part of the left branch of the atrioventricle, is supplied. So it is a artery because the neural tissue, defined cardioneural nerve center, signal center for coordinated contraction, is almost entirely being supplied. Any one of it can get compromised, give rise to diseases called arrhythmia. We will look at it. So we got a sense of what's happening. Had a 1 bonus branch, and had a 1. We had a 3 right margin. 4 was a good branch. We have a 5. The 5 made. But you can see there are others. See, they have not been named. We have not tried to name each and every branch, but branches of branches are supplying the and covering the. These main ones are the ones we pay particular attention to in coronary. So the clinical application, a disorder of the right coronary may cause a sinus bradycardia if the branch to is impacted, has been good or just been blocked forward. Or it can cause an AV nodal block, because the AV node which is here is also been branch from. Before we go into left coronary artery, this neural conduction nervous within the heart will be dealt with as a complete. You must pay good attention. It will help you correlate. So the left coronary artery, that is the second main branch. We said it has the left posterior aortic sinus, which is a little distended area of the most proximal. So where does it run? It behind the pulmonary, the right ventricle, which is arising with factor vessel, pulmonary trunk, which will divide into pulmonary, so going to the lung. So both the lungs. So the A is the artery is running behind, it is running behind the pulmonary trunk. It arises from here, you don't actually see because it's entirely behind. You only see it from here onwards, this circle. So now it appears this is the infundibulum. We said this part of the this outlet part just before the pulmonary trunk is infundibulum, and then we said this is the appendage here called the left auricle. Between left auricle and in right ventricle, that groove goes the very short course of the left coronary artery mainstay. So between left auricle, then you get, how does it end? Because it's very short, immediately, almost immediately, less than 1 inch, divides into two, circumflex branch and anterior. Name is self-intervention. It is anteriorly placed on the, it is between the true ventricle. There's a groove here, deep groove. This area to the right of it, this area to the left of it. So this is the inter groove. Anterior surface, anterior groove. Arterial vessel in that groove is the artery. This is how we anatomize. But clinicians the purple one. The two is the anterior interventricular. Clinicians call it the left descending. LAD is how it will be seen in your angiography. He says an AI branch. We say LAD. So that it's just another name. So let's look at the branches. Let's go back one. Then it divides into a circumflex yellow, goes off towards the left margin of the heart, then turns behind, right, in the atrial and keeps. Look where it's going. Its termination is going to an ending of the right cord. Okay? This is the circumflex branch. Name like this. It goes around, around, bends. It bends and goes around. So that circumflex branch is the left side. Down coming left anterior is the second branch, one of the most. It will also come up to the inferior margin and then it's also turning. Where will it go? It will go to the posterior intervention. So from here to here was anterior intervention. It's continuing behind as a posterior dot. Already here the branch from right coronary has come up to it. This one's tip going on. So anterior interventricular branch of left coronary termination posterior. Let's just look at the left circumflex. We consider it as a continuation of the main because it's almost in the same direction as the mainstay. This one is an angle branch. So a continuation, so we see circumflex as a continuation trunk. It turns around the left margin. And now it starts to, this is the right side. It starts moving on in the back groove, the right side. In a posterior atrial ventricle. Right? And anastomosis, the termination of the right cord. Right? Easy enough to understand, and when you see it on the specimen, hold a heart in your hand. See the circumflex will go behind. Look at the back side of the heart, goes, same groove, both the two sides left and right approach each other. So easy enough if you look at only the circumflex branch of the left. But when it is going, it gives branches to the left atrium from here to here. Whole left atrial is covered. It also gives branches to the ventricle, much of the area. And one large margin, that's the left margin. This was the right margin of the heart, the left margin. That there will be a branch, the red one, called the left margin. Sorry, not the red one. The position of this branch is actually a little more up, but for the sake of clarity, down a little lower. Most of the time, the left marginal branch exactly along the left margin of, and it is a This dot 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 means it's on the other side, right? On the back side. So if it's closer, it's originating from circumflex, almost at the bend where this one is turning around. That's where the 40% of the heart, I said 2 by 5. This yellow artery will also give off the sinuated. How will it be able to do that? The SA node is somewhere here. Remember? That's where it was from. But from on the back side, when you look at the back, the atrium is pretty close. So the left atrium will finish. The right atrium is, some of it is still there on the posterior surface. So sometimes the SA nodal branch will be given off from the circumference. So what you need to remember is its course, what it has, what are the branches it and its territory. Supply the atrium, supply the ventricle, and to a very big left branch, and it may give a branch SA. Alright, now let's look at this LAD or the anterior interventricular left coronary. It runs down in the anterior interventricle and it anastomoses with the termination of the posterior interventricle. Called anterior interventricle. This one was called posterior interventricle. Somewhere there, little above the anterior margin of the heart, but on the so this was the anterior ventricular thickness. This also gives conus branches, anastomose with the counterpart from the right coronary. Remember, this one's first branch was called conus branch. The conus branch, anterior interventricular. It also have conus branch. This one's conus and right. Then it will give a diagonal artery, which is a large branch to the left. This is the left. So it gives one more branch, which is going towards the left side, running diagonally across. It's not vertically down like it's diagonally going somewhere towards the left. That's called the diagonal. Two named branches. The conus branch, the diagonal branch, and its termination, which is forming the. Remember, that's very. Plus, it's giving a whole lot of other branches which are spanning over the whole muscle of the left ventricle, called the apex heart. So, its area of distribution. That's another way of asking the same question. What is the area of distribution of this Falana artery? So, the area is obviously the whole left ventricle. We already looked at that. Anterior part of intraventricular septum. Here, in the depth of this groove, is a septum which is separating the right ventricle from the left ventricle. So the truth or the good amount of this is being supplied, kept alive by the ingoing branch of this left anterior. So anterior part of interventricle and adjoining part of right ventricle. A little bit of right ventricle. Okay? This branch. So it's a branch of the left coronary. Small strip of right ventricle is also supplied. Now the clinical note here, which we will look at in great detail, that if there is a stenosis of this branch, critical, can give rise to heart embarrassment. It's serious because it supplies the majority of the left ventricle. We know that the major outflow will come by contraction of the coronary and the chambers. So LAD is also the most often affected coronary. First is that its branches do a very important job in terms of outflow, containing outflow. And two is, unfortunately, because in the way it is prevalent in the disease condition, the world, this is the most commonly affected. So from both points, very, very clear. This is the usual diagram which is there in your guidebook, which is easy to draw, where you can draw all branches. Draw the right atrium, draw the right coronary, to draw the margin branch turns down the corner. The light color is the continuation of the RCA in the posterior atrium. It gives a AV node. From here, I should get a S. Node. Don't see that this is the beginning of it. Goes off behind the auricle, going off to the SA node somewhere behind. At this right margin branch, this turning behind, and then the AB node. You don't miss this one, don't miss this one, and third and fourth name. And then for the left, this diagram is possible only because you cut off the two emerging two great vessels, both the both. If you remove only, you will be able to see that this right coronary is coming from the anterior aortic side. This bulge, supposed to the aortic valve. Just after the blood gushes out, oxygenated blood from the entering in this space, the valves of the eye, and immediately there is a little pocket of wall of a cell from which the right coronary. Left is emerging from the neck side pocket, posterior of the left aortic. From there, you're seeing the origin, southwest. Don't see it from the front surface because there was a pulmonary trunk blocking. But here in this groove, we can see the pulmonary trunk and the left aortic isn't, and in between the groove, the left coronary coming out. From here, it's supposed to continue as a circumflex, with a down coming. This circumflex goes behind and terminally anterior ventricle and terminally anastomosis with the posterior intervention. One diagram about most of it. In this, you can probably from circumflex, you can draw the left marginal branch. You can just add one more branch. From here, you can draw from area into, you can draw the diagonal branch. And the variants, you may need another diagram, we'll come to. But most of the main ones you can cover through it. Draw a few more branches to at all parts. So I found this diagram easy for you all to do using your request. You must remember to name table volume. Alright, this is another important concept to have, that you have a right ventricle more muscular or circular view. Sorry, did I say right? You have the left ventricle, which is a much muscular chamber. You have the right ventricle, much thinner wall. So what we are able to see is, for this left ventricle, the area supplied by left coronary and a little bit of the right ventricle. Right ventricular wall is supplied by the right coronary. The posterior interventricular groove is the backside of the heart. Process is taking place between RCA. This transverse section gives us an idea of how much muscular territory most of the left is almost 2/3 the left ventricle, and right ventricle is almost entirely the right coronary. A good amount of ventricular wall right ventricular wall is also septum. Actually, this is the septum, interventricular. This diagram is shown as half. Actually, this posterior is 2/3. That is posterior. This is posterior should be 2/3. Anterior should be. Check it out with diagrams in your atlas. Otherwise, you can follow a standard. But the concept is that chamber supply and the interventricular are both fully important, very important. So, clinical. Anastomosis. We already saw between the termination, ending of RCA and the ending of the circle. Then between the posterior and anterior interventricular. Coronal branches. It's important. Also between coronary and pericardial branches at the roots of the. So what are the major? We already said that's a pulmonary, and then you have superior pulmonary. Those we don't. The venous vessels don't consider more major. The arterial vessels near their roots, there will be pericardial branches. Outer envelope called the pericardium. Though that will be somatic kind of a blood supply, not a visceral kind of. Pericardial branches and the coronary myocardial anastomosis. Coronary arteries are the true end arteries. We always describe them that this artery is limited and sharp and nobody else shares it. This is a anastomosis. What is that? The correct answer for this is because at arteriolar level there are, one call them true, at sub branches of these there will be anastomosis joining vasculature. So technically there's no they are not arterial or anatomical, but if they get blocked, the damage to the muscle is so sudden and so uh, so impactful. So immediately it impacts that the behavior, the physiological behavior and the clinical management is like an end up, like one bit of that immediately, very quickly. Not enough time for the analysis compensate for heart attack or a brain attack are two very immediate, urgent clinical. In other vessels, there may be still some time for us to take a decision to decide which of. But for heart and brain, we deal with it very, very quickly. So this is a coronary stroke, what we would have called a neural or neurological stroke. If a vessel to is blocked under spasm or has developed a obstruction from outside or in, the behavior is like that. But anatomically, in one sense. So the clinical application. Through these anastomosis, collateral circulation can form. We always say may form because technically the lumina of the star will continue, so flow can happen. But most often it doesn't happen very immediately, doesn't compensate unless the block is slow to take over a long period. Talk about that. A sudden blockage of one large branch to myocardium called MI, where the myocardial tissue dies, the muscle dies. And if one part of a coordinated doesn't work, then the rhythmicity, the entire organ, and those 0.03 second differences that you need between closures and valves are easy. So coronary arteries are regarded as functional end arteries, though they are not. You've heard the word angina pectoris. We'll deal with that again. Angina is acute chest. So it's cardiac pain, especially on is to exertion, either emotionally exertional, mostly sudden cardiac pain, and it is because of myocarditis. The word ischemia means lack of adequate perfusion. So the muscle is not perfused with blood, and that leads to myocardial disease. Comes out as a symptom of cardiac. With all this story, with all these named branches, and you already said some one is 60%, 40%, 80%. So some variations are possible. In a just population of 1,000 people, there will be different. They will not branching that I mentioned need. For example, the conus artery, first branch of the right coronary we saw, may directly arise straight away from an aortic site, not from a stem main, but straight from this ascending artery. The conus artery of right, RCS conus, may be a third coronary. Circumflex artery or the anterior interventricular artery itself, they arise separately from the left posterior. That means there is no stem vessel of the LCA. This branch or that branch come directly from an aortic site. That would also be a third coronary. So this is a rarer. So in the anterior view, normal pattern is right coronary, right, given a right branch, the conus, left coronary, the back. And from this point, you see left marginal diagonal. Right? So this is the more or less normal pattern. SA nodal branch, dot dot dot, because it's in the groove between left or it goes there and it's related close to the superior vena. So that is the site of the. So that is a SA nodal branch. Then all of these all done. If there is a variation, what is the difference? There is no artery from here to the SA. From here there is nothing. But from here, from behind of these great vessels towards the SA node. So that SA nodal branch is coming from circumflex branch of. That is one of the normal what? This is posterior and inferior view. Now left is left and right is right. So this is the left circumflex, which is sulcus. This here it has given its left marginal, and here in the interventricular groove will give a posterior left come down. Right? It's normal. And the ghosted one is because this is front. Now you're looking at the back surface, front surface. Same thing on the front surface was this. When it came to this side, now the circumflex is continuing. You're looking at the back. It is continuing and it will anastomose. But it has given the posterior branch. That's good. Okay. So all of these are named left coronary, posterior left, SA nodal branch. This was the left coronary. This was the right coronary. From right coronary, SA nodal branch. And site of the AV node is here, just above this groove, hardly 1/2 inch above the groove. This one was getting, should have got. This is where the circumflex, and this AV nodal branch coming from the right coronary. Now, coronary, it's AV nodal branch. SA nodal branch, AV nodal branch, both are from right coronary. This is the normal arterial branch. But the variation is from the right one, it stopped here. It didn't even come up to the crux of the heart. What do you understand by crux of the heart? This is where the interatrial ventricular septum, the atrioventricular meet. Cross point where the four chamber walls are meeting each other. That crux of the heart is an important to find the AV node, little over and above it. This in this variation, the right side, in this variation, the right coronary artery didn't even reach the crux. So it cannot possibly give up this branch or any other branch, not even give up the AV node. Instead, left coronary went crossed up to the crux. It gave the descending interventricular posterior, and it also gave the AV node. So this variation is that right coronary has not been able to give the AV branch. The left coronary has given. In the earlier variation, the left coronary had given the SA nodal. Left coronary AV node. It's also given the SA nodal. So these are the two variations. Blood supply to the conducting is extreme. Repeat that point, and it can come as a separate short note. I put it as SA node is supplied by SA nodal artery from the right coronary, maybe from the left coronary. AV node is supplied by the AV nodal, largest and first interventricular, posterior interventricular, from RCA 80%. AV bundle, interventricular bundle traverses the center of the interventricular system, separating the two ventricles. The bundles are lying inside the of the septum. If interventricular septum, so in the anterior, it will be supplied by ingoing branches from some artery which is lying on this side. Posterior one third will be supplied from the surface vessel which is lying in the groove. So the AV bundle anterior two-thirds is supplied by the septal branches of the anterior interventricular arteries and branch of the LC. Posterior one-third by posterior interventricular RCA. So when we first saw right when behind, we have a posterior front that supplies one-third of the from behind. Two-thirds of it is by ingoing branches of the anterior interventricle, which is the LC artery from the front. So even there is a little bit of a inequality. Most of the septum is from branches from the artery occupying the anterior groove, which is a branch. So most common arrangement, if you do them in two different colors, you can see that the branches of the right and the branches of the left are grasping, holding the heart at the crown, where they were coronary. How they were to remove the heart. Looks like a ring. Right? So when you look at it in a picture, this as if the branches of one artery and the branches of the other artery go together are holding or clasping onto the bulk of the heart from either side. So this labeling is not very clear, but it will give you a sense of how it works. The posterior inferior view, when you look at it from the back, the two variants are this one. What was this one? Circumflex branch of the left coronary. Didn't come all the way to the crux, didn't give the posterior. So the right one only is giving posterior. Isn't this one? The left one. The right one is come up to the crux. This circle is supposed to be marking the region of the crux part. Right? This one is dominating if it gives a posterior. This one is dominating if it gives a posterior. So the word dominance, depending on which of the two arteries gives the posterior interventricular branch, which will supply the interventricular septum and a good part of the two one. So the way it will look is when you have a right coronary and a left interventricular anterior interventricular, that most of the chamber is by right coronary, right ventricle completely supplied, little bit of left coronary supplying most of the left ventricle and most of the interventricle. This is the usual. In this one, this posterior anastomosis is much mitigated and it didn't even give the posterior interventricle. Here it gave posterior interventricle. Here it didn't give. So this one had to give. Left coronary ended up giving posterior also, and it's already given anterior also. So the entire interventricular septum only by left coronary. White, all left coronary. Right coronary is a little bit of the wall of right ventricle. In this one, there is a neat equalization between left and right. So the area of anastomosis, blood from here and blood from here are both being supplied in posterior. Left coronary is giving this, coronary is also giving this. Looks like the right coronary is not contributing at all. So probably so it's looking like a full anastomosis. The blood supply is all coming from left. So myocardium supplied by RCA is 0. There doesn't seem to be a right at all. There's no origin, which means full looking vessel is taking care of all chambers. Very rare, very rare to have a singular coronary. In fact, apparently the known variant. This one looks like much of it is with right. Left coronary white, very right, has given intervention, marginal, round going branch, the left taking the and a bit of it. If it is on that good. So again, a rare variation. This is the most common. B can happen. C can happen. Means the amount of my territory of anyone. C is only rare. B this has been. So right coronary supplies right atrium, part of right ventricle, small part of left posterior side, posterior part of interventricle, and the conducting system, left bundle, left coronary, eyes, ventricle, small part of right ventricle, continues as a circumflex, supplies left atrium, supplies SA node in 40%, anterior part of ventricular receptor, but also left atrioventricular in the thickness of the right RBB left bundle and this AV bundle. So left part of the bundle is supplied by that coronary. The rest of the conductor. So a summary would be right coronary territory, left coronary. And for the atria, right coronary is entire right atrium, little bit of left. Left coronary is to left. So comparatively for the atria, right coronary is little bit more. So the entire right plus little bit. Ventricle wise, right coronary obviously compensates it with the right ventricle. Also part of left ventricle, the diaphragmatic. Left ventricle and part of right ventricle close to anterior. So that means left and right are both contributing to both the ventricles. Right more to right, a bit to left. Left more to left, a bit to left. Interventricular septum, posterior part, anterior part, left. Posterior part you must be 2/3 is the posterior. Conducting system almost entirely is little bit part of the left branch of it. All the other parts, the main nodes, the main bundle are by. This brings us to the end of this class. I hope at least the main terminology, relations have got embedded. Please revise it in a good book or in a good either in a or look at all the diagrams or in a have a this prosenatine. Please look at the pictures. Follow a good. Come prepared for the applied aspect. Before that, you will have a class on coronary veins. We didn't talk about the veins at all. The same groups, there are venous, they're named different. We call them cardiac. Coronary is the word used only for the artery. So thank you. Happy night.